Hello, Yadi. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, Chris.
Today's guest is Yadi Liu, an award-winning visual artist whose clients include BuzzFeed, The Washington Post, The Hollywood Reporter, and the Society of Illustrators, to name a few of her clients. I'm a super huge fan of her work, and I encourage you to visit her Instagram and connect with her. So, Yadi, where can people connect with you?
So you can find my work on my website. I upload my work most on my website and Instagram mostly. And my website is www.yadiliu.com. And my Instagram is yadiiart, which is YADIIART. You can follow me on my Instagram and I will show my works on there, very fresh works.
And listeners, please connect with Yadi, and I appreciate if you hit the subscribe and like button for our show. So Yadi, you were born in China and now you're based in New York City. I'd love to hear your journey and how you decided to pursue a career as a visual artist.
So back then, I'm in China. I studied game design for 4 years, but I really don't like game. I think sophomore years, and I read a book, an illustrator's artist book. His name is Antonio Lopez. He's a fashion illustrator, and I'm really inspired by his work and think that's a time I really want to pursue as an illustrator. I just don't know how to do it. I started search online to try to figure out what Illustrator is and how they can work with clients. I'm not sure what clients it is actually during that time. I'm just I just want to do something. And as an illustrator, I think it's super cool. And I found Illustrator can work with some brands and some press, which is awesome. So I work as a graphic designer first. After I graduated, I work as a graphic designer in Harvest Bazaar, China. And then I feel like I'm doing a lot of editing stuff, write some article, not really much about with art. So I quit that job and then have another job as an in-house illustrator. I really I'm doing illustration because I really want pursue this career. But I feel the in-house illustrator is a huge difference than compared to what I think. I'm doing a lot of things, just follow the different projects. I'm switching my style. I change my style a lot depending on each project. I don't have my own style, which is really makes me so confusing. And I really hate that feeling, as an artist, you always want to find the thing you really love and you really want to say, which is your artistic voice. So I'm quite lost over 2 to 3 years because I worked there. I'm really lost, but that is a really good job, but just not fit for me.
That was very interesting because a lot of people think that when they get into graphic design that they'd be illustrating a whole ton, but sometimes graphic design doesn't have a lot of illustration opportunities depending on the job it is, right? Some do. You can always put your illustrations within graphic design, but graphic design is completely different than illustration. Like you said it perfectly. So just to recap, you said that you were a gaming designer and you didn't feel like that was a fit for you, and then you got
I didn't do any game design. I'm just studied game.
You studied game design.
I didn't apply
Gotcha.
any game design job.
But you said you switched from graphic design to an illustration job and you felt that was a fit. And so you said something there that was very interesting. You said that you couldn't find your style. Why was that so difficult the first 3 years to find your particular art style? Because right now I'm looking at your website and your style is very distinct. When I see this, I know it's your work. But prior to that, was it hard to come up with your own style?
Oh my God, that is so hard for me. I think I took years, almost 5 years, if I need to count that, almost 5 years to figure out what artistic voice is mine. Because during the time I'm an in-house illustrator at an e-commerce company. I'm doing illustration for their like poster or like their promotion, their like packaging, a lot of stuff. Each project they require different style of illustration. They just like I think they go to the website like Behance or like Pinterest and see which artist their illustration is very like fit this project, and they will ask their in-house illustrator, which is me, to try to do something similar to this kind of like feeling illustration. So I can do anything. I feel like I can do anything. I have the ability to do every like style because that is my art background. I have this like foundation to do that, but that's not my real artist career. So that's why I really want to study more. So that's why I go to New York. I pursue my master degree in Fashion Institute of Technology, which is in New York City. Go to New York, try to figure out who am I and what is my artistic voice it is. What makes people feel that is, yeah, this work instead of like others. So that's the reason why I come here.
That is an amazing story because when you worked as an in-house illustrator, your bosses, so to speak, would go to Behance and look at illustrations and they would say, Yadi, we want you to copy this style for this particular project. So you're very adaptable. You can do a lot of different styles, but you didn't feel like you had your own particular style established yet. So you came to the United States, you studied here. And how did your experience studying here in the United States, how did they pull that out of you? How did you find your style?
That is a very like tricky question. Actually, like I feel like a lot of like early stage artists have the same question. And I think my professor, whose name is Melanie, she really influenced me a lot. She encouraged me. She said like only combination and color is the most important thing on the art piece. Other like detail stuff, it's not important. So that makes me feel very like I don't know, it's just like a slash, like hit me and I figure out something. And then she encouraged me to just do the thing which makes you feel really like the most comfortable to do it. So that is the style comes from, I think. When I'm doing that way, I feel really free and comfortable and very true. So I think it's start to build up.
That's amazing because one of the questions I was going to ask you is, how did you know that style would be so accepted by so many clients? We had a conversation before the podcast started, and you said that you just got done doing a project for Nike. And did you know that when you created this style that made you feel so good, and that's a representation of you, did you know that all these clients would love that style and they want you to work with them?
I have no idea. To be honest, I have no idea. I'm just kind of nervous actually, like in the beginning. I'm really nervous and like I feel like I would be so poor if I doing this, because I saw other artists, they have like style you can see a lot of on the market, which is I think is very acceptable. So I'm very like I don't know, I'm very nervous. But as a beginner, you have nothing to lose. You just need to try it, see how it's going. And another thing is, I think I treat myself as an artist instead of like a person who work with some companies and like, just I really want like my art is very true. So I didn't think that much actually.
No, that's great advice. That really makes a lot of sense. Instead of trying to adapt yourself to whatever you think that is going to be commercially accepted, you just went with your style and there was nothing to lose. And it's amazing that all these clients love your work and they want to work with you, which will lead me to this next question. You recently did an illustration titled Psychedelic Oscar Statue. and it was chosen to be the cover for the Hollywood Reporter magazine. And congratulations. That's amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I would like to know, how did this opportunity happen for you? How did they find you? Did you find them? How did you guys connect, and how did it happen?
Actually, the art director, Peter, I've been following his work for a long time and he's amazing. He's amazing on like directing a lot of like beautiful art. So I'm trying to introduce my work to him and send my stuff to his email address, which is a lot of like illustrator did. But he didn't reply me actually for such a long time. So, but I didn't give up. I'm just like share my new stuff to him. And yeah, and one day he reached out to me. He said, "Hey Yadi, there's a project. I think you definitely a good fit. Do you want to try this?" So I'm very appreciative that he gives me this opportunity.
Wow, that's a huge opportunity. So you just sent him your work, and one day out of the blue, he felt that as an art director, he felt that your art would be the perfect match for the Hollywood Reporter magazine cover. Let me ask you a question. Does the Hollywood Reporter say, hey, look, this is what we're thinking of? Could we brainstorm that? Or do they have an idea? Do they dictate what they want you to draw?
They have a very brief thought about like how this work gonna be. Because this project, they reach out to few artists, and I think I just think maybe each one have their like different brief. I don't know, but like my brief is like create something which is very like colorful and dreamy, and that kind of thing to like a metaphor as the Hollywood this right now the current situation. Yeah, and around the statue.
Everything's digital, right?
Yeah, everything's digital, but like the director will like discuss with me if there is anything like suggestions. Like I can bring up some of my like suggestions because he just gave me some like random, very like some very rough thinking, but
Mm-hmm.
like I can draw something which I think is very interesting. So and he will pitch. I will give him like 3 sketches and with some color. So we'll talk about like which is like more fit with this project. For example, on this illustration, there's a lot of like, how to say it, the bubble, and he feels the bubble is very looks like poor. Sorry, I don't know how to say that.
I'm looking at it, and I love this illustration, by the way. And listeners, stop by her website. It's right there and under her illustration work. And so they give you suggestions, they give you a little bit of edits. And as it being digital, it's very easy to make edits, correct?
Yeah, I'm doing everything on digital.
Gotcha. And how did your family feel about this? This is a huge thing. Your work going to be in the cover of the Hollywood Reporter. That's pretty huge. How did your family feel about you accomplishing this?
Yeah, my mom is so excited and like, but she's in China. She really wants the physical magazine. And she like asks me every day, "Did you get the copy from the director? Can you ask him?" I'm like, "No, mom, no, I cannot bother." you know?
Yeah. Has this magazine, has it been published already? Have you gotten copies of this already?
Yeah, I got 2 copies from them. This is my first cover. I worked with some like press before, but this is definitely my first cover. So I think it's kind of like a little milestone for myself.
Yadi, if a young creative who looks up to you and the work that you have done wants advice on how to be a successful visual artist, what advice would you give them?
I think it's definitely persistent. Even it's like kind of old, but I think it's very important because during this journey, I have a lot of times I really want like give up, but I didn't do that. Just like in my mind, but I always have some like negative thinking because you can't guarantee that the work is gonna like work out. Especially if you are a commercial artist, you have to work with clients. If there's no clients, you're gonna feel so stressed, but you need to believe in yourself. And sometimes you're gonna meet a lot of like some hard issues, like financially you cannot support yourself because in the early stage it's very hard to financially support you. Like you have to like really make a list, cost very low to make sure you can run your own business. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, and that's great advice. Being persistent is really important. And believe me, as a creative myself, I'm a designer, a graphic artist. There's times when I was a young graphic artist, there was times where you feel insecure, right? But now that you have had, and I found this for myself, like I'll give you an example. I had one big client. Once I got that big client, everybody else started to believe that I could do all this work, right? So the big clients does help get more opportunity. Did you find that to be true with you once you've gotten all these clients like BuzzFeed and the Washington Post, the Hollywood Reporter? Did other clients gravitate to you and use you more?
Yes, actually, I recently worked a huge client, but it's a secret. I cannot say anything. But
Yeah, let's not say it. I don't want to get you in trouble.
yeah. But anyway, it's a huge client. Like everybody knows the name.
Yeah.
Like before, I never thought that they were like fan me to work with them. That they're always my dream client, number one, almost like. But I never thought that would come from that soon. But when that day comes to you, you really proud of yourself, and you feel like you deserve it. A lot of things you suffered, and you thank yourself so much you didn't give up. If that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because I'm not a native. I'm an international artist, came from a long way to here. And yeah, I'm sacrificed a lot.
Sure.
But when the things comes to you, you really like, it means a lot. Yeah.
No, I think that myself. It's funny because I say, if I quit now, what if my opportunity is just like 2 weeks away? So I always feel like if I quit, I don't know what's around the corner. Maybe Yeah, that makes sense. So now you're telling me, since you've gotten all these opportunities, more clients find you. You don't have to find them. They reach out to you. Is that right?
Yeah, for now, yes. If someday the clients don't want to reach out to me, I will look into that as well.
That's great. So right now, I guess it's a better scenario for you, I would assume, right? You don't have to reach out and bug people. Your work is starting to resonate and it's starting to have a lot more eyes on it. So people are reaching out to you. I just have a couple of questions here. For people who are a fan of your work, do you sell prints? I do see you have NFTs, and I'm not an expert in NFTs, but do you sell prints of your work, or do you only sell NFTs?
I do sell prints, but not a lot because I'm very care about the quality of the prints. So I really want to make sure the paper is very good, and then I'm gonna consider this as a main business in my business.
Is it in your website? Can we buy your work in your website, or where do you?
Yeah. I work with the platform, and the name is Imprint. They do some very good quality prints. That's why I put my works there.
Gotcha. I'm looking through your website here.
I don't do that much.
NFTs. I don't understand it. So you can sell your digital art and people are interested in that, in digital NFTs?
I'm kind of newbie actually, like NFT. I'm still trying.
Mm-hmm.
So my work is, so that piece called All in Me is 30 blocks combined together. Each block means each year in my life. I pitched the most important thing in that year to create an image and combine them together, as a whole person, if that makes sense.
It's so trippy. You also put this effect on it. I don't know what it is. It's like a 3D box that moves. It's just so cool. I love this. This is actually the cover. It's the cover of your website, actually. It's your landing page image, right? It's what you start off
Yes,
with.
yes. So that page, because that page means a lot to me, because like I also create, I record my breathing voice. So that is like it's a 3D stuff, but like it's a 3D installation in the website. So when you work close to the installation, you can hear my breathing voice, and then you can feel the blocks. They're like goes up and goes down. It feels like the breathing, if that makes sense. It's live.
Yeah, no, that's great. And a couple questions here. What would you like to see happen in your future, Yadi, that hasn't happened for you in your career yet? I mean, that's a hard question to answer because you sounds like you're doing a lot of cool things now. But is there anything you still want to accomplish?
I think I always want like doing acrylic painting because I really want to transfer my illustration to the fine art.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but I didn't like work that much yet. I'm still like practice. I'm doing like pastel before, use my style to create pastel piece, which is I really love it. But it just pastel this material. I feel it's really hard to clean. So I try to use another material. I think acrylic is a good way to do it because it's very like vibrant. And my palette is very vibrant as well. So I want to use that to try it.
I just thought about this because I'm looking at your work. What are you using? Are you using a combination of Illustrator and Photoshop? Are you just using Photoshop? Are you using a tablet?
I'm just using Photoshop, but I use like iPad when I'm doing the sketch. In the sketch process, I'm using iPad.
Do you use a Wacom tablet? Is that what you use?
I'm using Wacom and Photoshop software.
Yadi, we were speaking before the show started, and you just recently worked with Nike. How did you get this opportunity to work with such a humongous brand like Nike?
I work with Nike Jordan and they reached out to me. I don't know, maybe they saw my work on my Instagram or like other medias. I don't know where they found me, but like they reached out to me. And then they said there's a project. They think my work might be a good fit. They asked me to do a big illustration. I did like two of them projects. There's a four projects. So I did two of them right now. Maybe I'm gonna do more, which is the fitting room, the new store fitting room in China. There's four new store gonna open. So I do their big painting so they can hang on the fitting room. It's very big, very big.
Wow. Is that going to be in your website? Because I don't see
Yeah,
it in here.
I gonna put on my website, but right now they're still like in the process, so I didn't put it on there.
So Nike, they needed illustration for a store in China. And what an amazing opportunity for you. And these printouts, they're life size. How big are they?
Almost like a tour like me.
Wow.
It's really big. So I'm doing art in Photoshop instead of Illustrator. So it's quite a challenge for me because I need to like make the size very, very big. So my computer is like burnt out. It's so slow, so slow. But the good thing is the client, which is Nike Jordan, they're so, so good. They're definitely my angel client. They have zero feedback. Can you imagine that? Zero
Wow.
feedback. Like,
Really?
yes, like everything up to the artist. So
That's
they want,
amazing.
yeah, they want me like do something makes me feel very proud of and feel very free and inspired by the Nike Jordan shoes and their basketball, so they can put on their store. It's a kind of like an artist collaboration, but like it's so free. I never met a client like this, especially it's such a huge client. And so I have this preparation that because they mentioned we have like so many rounds, right? So I will feel like, oh my God, there have so many rounds, so I gonna like adjust a lot of different stuff, but nothing.
I look forward to you posting this. I can't wait to see it. And I'm sure you're going to post it into your website and Instagram. So Congratulations. I'm really excited to check this out.
Thank you so much. Yeah, they have like different store in different cities. So yeah, I think my mom gonna travel to different cities to take pictures for me because I'm not in China now.
Yeah. So it's been published already. It's already out there.
I think one store gonna publish soon, but like another store's still in the process, so I cannot post right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I'd be very proud too if I was a parent. So
Thank
that's
you.
awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yadi, last question here. How do you define success for you personally?
For me,
Yes. How do you define success in your life?
in my life, that is a big
Yeah.
question. Mm, I think I really like use all my potential ability, like because I always want to see like I don't know how to say it. It's a little abstract. So like I feel like everyone is just like a bottle, and you have a bottle of water, like full of water, which is your ability. But every
Mm-hmm.
time you just like pour a little bit, try something and pour a little bit. I just want like use all of them. I think that's a time I feel I'm very success. If that is makes sense.
Gotcha. Yadi, I want to thank you for taking the time to share your creative journey with us. And could you remind everybody again where they can connect with you again?
Yeah. You can find my work on my website, www.yadiliu.com, and also my Instagram, YADIIART. Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you. And listeners, please connect with Yadi. Check out her work. I'm a big fan of it. And until next time, everybody, take care and bye.